So most of what I'm going to do now, you can see I've got my cylinder pretty much lined up and my image plane scaled. Most I'm going to do now is going to really start with this top. Let's just review real quick. So this cylinder, like I said, I just pulled the vertices that are here in the middle. As a matter of fact, it's easier to just do this, just to review real quick. That's the cylinder I made. Using these settings, and what I did to just vary that was I grabbed the vertex from above. So when I grab them from above, I'm getting both the top and bottom. Then I'm scaling them further apart, pretty much lining them up with the other vertex there. And then I added two edges. You can see on top of this. Okay, so I added an edge loop here, and that wasn't quite as easy as I thought it would be. So what I had to do was take the multi-cut tool. I've gone into the this tool palette here, the modeling toolkit. Now, the reason I said it wasn't quite as easy is I wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally create a brand new vertex. So I can hold down the shift key, click, and see it didn't, I wanted it to make a straight line, and instead it went over to the middle. So I ended up having to move that vertex by eye. And what I could do, if I could, let's take this whole object, move it, and let's see if I put it on the X key. See, I could play around trying to get this corner on a grid, or what I could do is say D, and now say V, like in Victor, and middle mouse drag on that edge. And now I can snap that vertex right to a grid line. So when I use the multi-cut tool, I can click, and then I don't know if it will let me. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Now I got a straight line, so I'm guaranteed, I think, that I'm right on that same line. So the key thing here is, the important thing is I don't want to have, I want to make sure I don't accidentally create a pair of vertices on top of one another. I want to make sure that that multi-tool kit is picking up or connecting exactly with that vertex, so that when I move it, so if I click on it, I'm sure that only one vertex moves. Okay, so I have that now. Now you can see this looks to be lined up, or is it not? Oh, that one's the other one. Okay. So again, I can move this. Whoops. That one's lined up. This one's not. So I can come over and say, well, let's move the D for pivot point, V like in Victor for actually point. Middle mouse drag on that point. Now I can hold down X and snap that point, which is now the pivot point of the object. Go get the vertex and hold down X and snap it, so that I have those things lined up as well. Okay. All right. I mean, it's not absolutely critical that they're perfectly. The critical point is you don't want to duplicate that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. What I can do is get the multi-cut tool, click, and then kind of approximate where I want it to be. And then I can hit return until I'm done. Get the multi-cut tool and do it again. So notice when I click that first point, it turns color. When I, oops, I don't have the multi-color tool. Click that point, it turns color. And then when I get to the edge, it shows you red to say, you know, it recognizes that's the edge you want to create. So I click there. Now what I could do is from this top view, I can select that vertex, move it, click on the X or red arrow, and this time again use the letter V, but now it can only move in the direction, so that should put it directly below the one on the top. We'll do that again here. So the bottom vertex is a little misaligned. Go to select it, click on the X axis for the move, hold down the letter V, and now move the mouse without pushing any buttons on the mouse, and then middle mouse drag on that point. So now the software says, okay, I've got to move to snap to that point, but I can only move in the X axis, and that keeps me there. Then I'll do these last two real quick. Oops. Click and click. So it does light up when you get, in other words, when I get a point, lights up. When I get to another point. So instead of the edge, notice how now just the vertex is lighting up. So I can say, okay, now I know I've got those things connected.